Honorable Adjudicator, Mr. and Madam Speaker, and also ladies and gentlemen. The motion for our debate today is, this House believes that the political dynasty in the country is dangerous. Political is something that relating to the government or the public affairs of a country. Dynasty is a succession of people from the same family who play prominent role in business, politics, or another field. Country is a nation with its own government, occupying a particular territory. Dangerous is likely to cause problems or to have adverse consequences. Political dynasty is a power which has been handed down for generations in family groups that are still bound by blood relation, in order to obtain or maintain the political or governmental power. The conclusion of this motion is about the adverse or the dangerous consequence of political or governmental power in a country that has been handed down from generation to generation in family line. So, we propose this motion because this motion is true and not good or even dangerous for our democratic system. Political dynasty is dangerous because it can jeopardize democracy, make the country rigid and authoritarian because the direction of government rests only on the interest of his family and its cronies, becoming a threat when someone who accepts the power mandate from his family turns out to not have competence. It could close the door to people's welfare because only focus on the family who hold the power, while other people have no chance. Today, the trend of political dynasty is increasing and harming society. Nagara Institute Executive Director Akbar Faisal said, at legislative level, the number of Indonesian Legislative Assembly exposed to political dynasty rose significantly, starting from 28 members in the 2009 legislative election until the peak occurred in the 2019 legislative election, which passed 99 members to Senayan. The same portrait took place in regional. Since the first simultaneous regional election in 2015, the number of regional heads related to the political dynasty has continued to increase. Akbar explained, the rising trend of the political dynasty was caused by open space. The absence of clear regulation regarding these problems make political dynasty increasingly develop and have an impact on society. To maintain the society's right to not slowly disappear and the democratic system can continue to function as stable as it should, we, as the affirmative team, propose this motion as the political dynasty in a country is dangerous. Today, me as the first speaker will be talking about, first, people who are more competent and have more capacity can be displaced or not used. Second, political dynasty have the potential to foster corrupt culture. Later, the second speaker will be talking about political dynasty inhibits goals of country. So, here is my first argument, ladies and gentlemen. My first point is, people who are more competent and have more capacity can be displaced or not used. This is because the reason is not his family or relatives. This happens because political dynasty prioritize his family over other people who were clearly not his family, and maybe they don't care about the quality and the competence of their family member who want to be appointed in a political structure. One can be privileged because of political dynasty, while other people who are far or not in kinship or their family line have lost their opportunity. People who are more competent and have more capacity should be able to take part in political system and advance Indonesia. But all of that is hampered because of political dynasty. It would be very unfortunate if Indonesia could not advance just because of one thing or one obstacle, namely political dynasty. So, because people who are more competent and have more capacity can be displaced or neglected due to the political dynasty. We, as the affirmative team, strongly agree that the political dynasty in a country is dangerous. Now to my second point. My second point is political dynasty has the potential to foster corrupt culture. This is because political dynasty can be interpreted as a political power carried by a group of people who are still related in the family relation. This means that only those who are related to the family hold the power. So they don't need to feel anxious or afraid of being found out when committing corruption, because only those among them who know that their family are corrupt, and most likely others will not know because the witness is only from their family. This is what makes political dynasty increase the potential for corruption. According to Prayoga.id, there are at least 5 political dynasty involved in corruption cases. For the example, Kutai Kartanegara dynasty, Syakunai Hasan and Rita Widyasari are father and daughter. Both are former Kutai Kartanegara regents and are equally entangled in corruption cases. So because political dynasty can foster corrupt culture, we as an affirmative team strongly agree that political dynasty in a country is dangerous. So, Honorable Adjudicator, Mr. and Madam Speaker, and also ladies and gentlemen, because political dynasty can expel the competent people and can increase the possibility of corruption, we, as the affirmative team, strongly agree that the political dynasty in a country is dangerous.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Edu and Adjudicator. Today our motion is the political dynasty in a country is dangerous. So, I want to rebut first speaker team affirmative. First speaker said, political dynasty prioritizes his family over other people who were clearly not his family, and they didn't care about the quality or competence and of their family members who want to be appointed in political structure. One can be privileged because of political dynasty, while others people who are far from currency or family line have lost their opportunities. And my opinion is we must find the truth. Not all who apply the political dynasty of their family members and are treated preferentially. And as a result of judging like that, political dynasty becomes negative impact in the eyes of other people. Even though in reality, it's not like that. They remain responsible and competent for their duties. If they are wrong, they must apologize and correct their mistake. So, my point is the political dynasty are not dangerous because they have a good side. And second speaker point is the positive side of political dynasty. Let's start my first argument. Dynasty political prohibition human right in freedom of choice. According to them, everyone is free to nominate and be dominated without any obstruction. So the child, wife, husband or brothers of a leader who wants to run in the election has the same right and obligation as the others. They are still allowed to run in the election without a break because not everyone who agreed to the political dynasty has a negative impact. Political dynasty remain, but they remain but they remain on the road and doesn't not interfere. There are people who just want a peaceful, calm, and noise in the middle of life. Then they don't care about dynamic and change. They don't care who their leaders about are, as long they can guarantee a country that is safe and secure. Men or women, young and or all, uh, leads leads are not or a problem. So when they are led by families from the same thing, the community doesn't protect. Society tends to choose a figure that is clear and established rather than a new figure but still full of doubts. In some area leader by dynasty politics, it was usually quiet from the uproar. And not all dynasty politics is based on effort to perpetuate family role. In some cases, politics is carried out in order to continue the predecessor leadership, really, really without the frills of family interest. Um, the emergence of a competent the emergence of a competent, credible figure and has a wealth of of organizational experience may be used as evidence, even though the person inherited the political of his predecessor is not necessary their role only to fulfill the political desires of the family. For example, in some figures in Indonesia who have inherited the political influence of their predecessor, such as Mr. Abdurrahman Wahid and Mrs. Megawati Soekarno Putri, can be a small example that some of them are not concerned with personal and family interests. Abdurrahman Wahid inherited his political influence from the figure of his father, who became President RI, uh, Mr. Wahid Hashim. Then Megawati Soekarno Putri inherited her political talent from the proclaimer Soekarno. So, the political dynasty was actually not dangerous. Only a few people who made the political name of the dynasty so bad until now. So, thank you, and that's all.
Hello, I'm Dara Ahmedi. I'm speaker 2 from government side. According the speaker 1 from government of both sides, she already know what the weakness of the political dynasty. Political dynasty is prohibit, violate human rights in freedom choice. And that's right. That's totally right. 100% right. Because political dynasty only take opinion, suggestion, and criticism only from relation, family, and close friend. Political dynasty also can only choose the family, close friend, and relation to stand on the government chairs. And political literacy also cannot be allowed in any country, especially in Indonesia, because Indonesia is democracy country. Why political dynasty should not be exist? Because political dynasty can halt goals or inhibit goals, country goals, to reach what actually country needs, what actually make this country better. Because to make it better, to make this country better, we need a lot of thinker, a lot of opinion, a lot of suggestion, a lot of criticism from any people, not only from relation, not only from family, not only from close friend. It's kind of ego from that. Like our speaker of government said, the political dynasty can increase the corruption rate. We know in Suharto era there is a lot of corruption until we know the KKN, policy korupsi nepotisme. It will prohibit in Indonesia since the Suharto era ends, and we know in Undang-Undang Dasar 1945 in amendment we know nepotism is not allowed. But in Indonesia, in some district, there is still have a political dynasty. We know the deputy governor of Banten, Ratu Atut. She take her children, her family to stand on important chair in governor. And what happened? She take the profits, the private profits from that thing, from that political dynasty. She very glamour with the privileged lifestyles from that benefit, and it cost almost 74 billion rupiah. It's a lot of money. A lot of money, very much money. And then Ratu Atut get arrested in her home at Banten, and her family too. Now, especially in Indonesia, political dynasty cannot be allowed because Indonesia is the democracy country. Because from democracy, we can improve what makes this country better. Because it needs a lot of things, a lot of suggestion, a lot of opinion, and a lot of criticism. So that's why political dynasty should not be exist especially in this country. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Honorable Adjudicator, Mr. Madam Speaker, and also ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is the House belief that a political dynasty in our country is dangerous. First of all, we agree with the definition given by the affirmative team. However, we as the opposite team believe that this statement is wrong. But firstly, I'm going to rebut the first speaker of affirmative team. The first speaker of affirmative team has tried to tell us that a political dynasty has a potential to foster a corrupt culture. But this is actually wrong. Why? Because This has happened because the political dynasty system tends to remain close, especially in the election of regional head, so that it is resulting the growth of negative political dynasty. So therefore, it is prone to negative things happen. However, according to Indo-Barometer researcher Muhammad Kodari, he said that the government has anticipated these negative aspects of political dynasty. The government has published rules which prohibit main family from becoming candidates for regional heads in a row. Also, after a person has finished his term of office as a regional head, his wife or child can't immediately can't immediately appear as a candidate for regional head, but there must be an interval for one period, while in that period he or she can learn and get a lot of information, a lot of education and experiences by his or her family. So the negative aspects of political dynasty won't happen in that period because they must learn that period. So today, me as the second speaker of opposite team will be discussing about the positive sides of political dynasty. As we know, political dynasty can be interpreted as a political power which is conducted by a group of people who are still related in the family relations. A political dynasty is more identical like empires because the power will be passed down from generation to generation, from father to sons, so that the power will remain in the family circle. Political dynasty is already occurred in our country, which is Indonesia. Political dynasty in Indonesia have grown since the New Order era. Everyone is still thinking that this political dynasty is dangerous, but this is wrong because political dynasty doesn't always bring negative impacts but also positive sides. According to Muhammad Kodari, he said that political dynasty is not entirely negative. According to him, there are positive sides of political dynasty. So I will be talking about the positive sides. The positive sides of political dynasty lie in its direction. The political direction is already clear because it starts from his or her family who has a clear political direction, and the socialization is also better, especially from a established family. The political insight is better as well. It means that the family provides an example or experience where the child of entrepreneur. The institution of entrepreneurship is better than the ordinary person. For example, like Mr. Prayoga, he is better because he came from his grandfather. Prayoga's grandfather was the founder of the biggest bank, which was PNI Bank. And another example of positive political dynasty that stands out is the Bung Karno's family. This can be seen from the political line of dynasty, which was nationalism. A figure who appears as the candidate for regional head is better known to the citizens and also has undergone education from his or her family. So he or she already has a political capital. Also, a figure from a political dynasty have a long track record in accordance with his family journey. So, Honorable Adjudicator, Madam Speaker, and also ladies and gentlemen, in my conclusions, we don't have to believe that the political dynasty in our country is dangerous. Instead, nothing's wrong with that because it brings the positive sides, like I said before in my points. So, the power or strength of the political dynasty is that if it is believed or the citizens have confidence in the particular lineage, then control and regulation of social system can be done easily. That's all for me, and thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Adjudicator, Mr. and Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. So, today the topic for our debate is the political dynasty in country is dangerous. I agree with the motion because I have some reason, but first of all, I want to rebut some point of Prime Minister from opposite team. The first one, they say dynasty political prohibition violate human right in freedom of choice and choice. I disagree with that because instead to give the way to give a human right, it more give negative impact, such as unfair competition. You know, like the son of president and the son of the farmer, they are joined to election. You know, the son of president will winning because they have some power, they have some uh, like some spatial space for them, even though they both of them have the same qualification, or maybe the son of farmer more competent than the other one. But yeah, because his father have some power there, so they have some spatial space to get yeah, like to winning the competition. So it's so very unfair for them. And the second one, they say that just look at the condition of the district Banten province. The area is relatively stable. No, I disagree with that because it's wrong. It's wrong because from data in Banten, country losers by 79.79 million rupiahs because Ratu Atut Kosia did the corruption with their family, which is their 13 members of family. Can you imagine that? They are do the corruption, they are do some, like, yeah, they are losing the country, and the end, Ratu Atut Kosia get verdict till 5.5 years. Okay, next to my point, why I agree with the motion, because political elites have a different interest. This sentence strongly describes the political condition in our country today. Political dynasty is not serving us. They are not serving public or citizen, but they preserve power. They do the political dynasty with many tricks. Of course, the benefit for themselves or their family. The different interests can be get some benefit, like the financial benefit and also in social work. These different interests can be harmful country and citizen. The profit by the different interests give the result, such as corruption, collusion, and nepotism. The involve many families of the politician, and the politician give his power to his family, as we known as dynastic politics. The expression of political dynasty is aimed by families that involve in practical politics, especially countries that adhere to democratic system. Based on data from Kompas.com, say that the age of 75 5 years Indonesia political dynasty have lasted for 3 generations. The first one comes from our first president, Sukarno and his family, his son and his daughter. Guru Soekarno Putra as a House of People's Representative on 2004, and Megawati Soekarno Putri as a president on 2001 until 2004. And Megawati's daughter, Puan Maharani, as the House of Representative on 2019 until 2024. And next to the second generation, Sukarno, his family, Siti Harjanti and Siti Hadianti, joined to be a politician in Indonesia. And also his son-in-law, Prabowo Subianto, and family, they're joined to the election to be the president in Indonesia. And the last generation, the last but not least, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, his son Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono and Edi Baskoro Yudhoyono, they joined the election to be the exclusive and legislative in politics in Indonesia. So, Joko Widodo, his son Gibran Rakabumi, want to join to the election to be the run of mayor of Solo, and Jokowi's son-in-law Bobi Nasution want to join the election of run for mayor of Medan. So all of them is real example illustrate that in order to define the interest of politicians, like giving a pound of house to build a pound of horse to build a country with their family's member, but this is very dangerous and give negative impact for us, for country, for the citizens. So therefore, instead of allowing this to continue to develop, better government provide equal opportunities to those who are not comes from family members of the government, or the government and the politician, because they have more competent too. Okay, thank you for that.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is this House believes that the political dynasty is not dangerous. In the first, I want to rebuttal from second affirmative team. He said Ratu Atut Josiah from political dynasty do corruption only her lifestyle and private benefit. The impact of these cases is Ratu Atut won't do procurement of medical device. But before she do, she has been arrested. Imagine if she is not arrested, maybe she will do procurement of medical device. Because the Ratu Atut have a achievement such as recruit foreign investor and over progress in the field of development. So that political dynasty is actually not dangerous. But before the war was completed, it was suspected to be dangerous. Imagine if first to see what they are doing and have been completed. Political dynasty can be the basis of a country. So that we, as affirmative team, believe that political dynasty is not dangerous because political dynasty can be the basis of the country. Next, I want to rebuttal from first closing affirmative team. She said the profit gave the result, such as corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Actually, if the result doesn't have,
how the country will develop and be strong. In fact, political dynasty make a country keep development and be strong. And imagine if political dynasty doesn't have reason, why the whole world use it, such as America, Indonesia, and India. That means political dynasty is not dangerous, and political dynasty can make country keep development and be strong. Then go to my point. My point is the political dynasty can be the basis of the country. In the current development, almost the entire world has experienced the domination of political dynasty. Interestingly, even in countries that embrace democracy, political dynasty flourish. In fact, democracy is the basis for developing political dynasty. Based on data from pitapolitik.com, mentioned that the DPR 2019 until 2024 periods contains at least 48 legislators with certain concepts such as Limpo Dynasty in South Sulawesi, Narang Dynasty in Central Kalimantan, Fuad Dynasty in Madura, and the famous dynasty in Banten is the Kasen Sochip Dynasty, that is Ratu Atut Josia as the government of Banten for 2 periods. Then Ratu Tatu Casana as the deputy regent of Serang for the period 2010 until 2015, and the regent of Serang for the period of 2016 until 2020. Then Irene Ramidiani as the mayor of South Tangerang for 2 periods since 2011 to 2020, until children and in-laws who occupy various of other positions. Imagine if political dynasty did not exist or was considered dangerous. How could the country will develop without a political dynasty? While political dynasty is the foundation for developing a country, and that foundation, a country will be formed. In other words, political dynasty can be the basis of a country.
Good morning, educator, ladies and gentlemen. Today our mentioned debate is about the house ban that dynasty political in a country is dangerous. First, I am as second speaker closing of affirmative team. One debate point of Jimmy as second closing of opposite team. You said democracy is the basis of developing dynasty politics. I disagree with this point because according to Zulkifli Mansyah, it is difficult to realize the ideas of democracy because of the creation of unclean and good governance. The function of power control is weakening and ineffective, so that the possibility of power division such as corruption, collusion, and nepotism. With dynasty political, the incompetent person has power, but the opposite can also happen, where competent people are not used for reason, not family. In addition, the idea of statehood have not been realized because the leader or state official do not have the capability to carry out their duties. Therefore, the political dynasty is not the right system to be implemented in our country, Indonesia, because the Indonesia state is not a country with a monarchical system of government that select leader based on lines acts. And I also want to rebut point of Jimmy as second closing speaker of opposite team. You said that if there is no political dynasty, it will dangerous. How can the developing country be without a political dynasty? I strongly disagree with your argument, because in Indonesia it was approved by government or called a disgracing government. In Indonesia has a large population, most of which have different ideas to become leader in various regions. Each human being has different in various regions. If a political is imposed in Indonesia, those who have aspiration will be displaced by the existence of the political dynasty. Next, to conclusion of our team. The conclusion of our team is someone who has the ability to politicize with the good competence is a way to develop politics in a country. Example such as in Indonesia today, the number of corruptors who have been arrested for corruption and working poorly. The existence of this political dynasty makes people incompetent in their power, which result in acts of corruption in a group. In addition, this action can make idea and goals of statehood become obstructed and not realized because of dishonest leaders. The person who has already been elected to a government seat is holding in dynasty politics. For example, his brother or still in family nominates himself to be a member of DPR or a member of the executive state. This is done not because it advances the country and help the people, but they have different interests such as enriching family asset and maintaining the dignity of respectable people because the extended family has been elected to government. So I'm as second speaker of affirmative team purpose with this motion. Thank you.
Okay, I am for closing opponent. Today I will rebut about for closing government. For closing government said that the political dynasty is not right system to be implemented in our country, is Indonesia, because the Indonesia state is not a country with monarchical system of government. It selects leaders based on lineage. In fact, Indonesia once applied its monarchy in ancient times. A monarch of a small region such as tribal, like a country village of Maluku, a district or district, to a large island or a continent. The head of the custom of the village of Maluku called the land king. The king who ruled of Maluku called Liurai. A small kingdom or the district kingdom is subject to a larger kingdom that is usually empire. There are the others empire that implemented the monarchical system in Indonesia in the past. I emphasize that the political is amorous. It is polite. It is polite to Indonesia politics and does not harm to other people. For example, in another country implemented dynasty politics in Saudi Arabia. The political dynasty of the Saudi Arabia nation would have saved because of such large votes. If each country adopted the same as the Arab states, would certainly have saved costs. The excess would help to subsidize the Saudi Arabian people as a whole. This type of subsidy can be felt all people, such as free education costs, no cost essential materials, no taxes, no bank loans, and etc. There is my rebuttal about foreclosing government. The next is I will conclude about opponent statement. Dynasty politics is political power run by a group of people still involved in family relationships. The political dynasty of the political system runs much the same as the royal system. As we can say that monarchy, for power will be handed down from father to son in successions. To keep the power within the family circle, at the present time, almost all the people countries adopt the dynasty political system. In fact, the country that embraced the politics, the dynasty continued to grow rapidly and to make the country of this country. As everyone is free to choose and free to be a leader, Article 28 verse number 3, 1945 law. Everyone has the right to freedom of association, unity and expression. Everyone is free to nominate and be nominated without hindrance. So, the child, wife, husband, or brother of leader who wants to make a selection has the same rights and obligation as others. Indonesia begins to open the system of democracy after the end of the New Order region under Suharto's leadership in 1998. We're all Indonesian as free to speak and voice, to criticize, to be free to vote and elect. Such opponents afforded the people the same opportunity for power in the electoral elections. All citizens of different backgrounds are guaranteed the electoral election. All citizens of different backgrounds are guaranteed their right to participate in political contests. The opportunity is further open when rules on decentralization of power and autonomy are involved. We can take an example from other countries that implemented political dynasties. The Philippines is a powerful political country of dynasty. There are Ampatuan, families Aquino, Estrada, Marcos, and the others. Even current Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte is also building a political dynasty with his two children who are the mayor and deputy mayor of Davao, a city that Duterte has ruled for seven years. Politics of the dynasty was indeed an excellent politics to make a region stronger. For the family, the previous leaders had experience in politics, so that his successor could imitate and apply in politics thereafter. Okay, that's all from my rebuttal and my conclusion point of the opponent statement. Okay, that's all from me. I'm from fourth closing opponent. Thank you.